Welcome to the Cheap Guitar Channel. Just a poor man playing poor stuff poorly. Thanks for being here, and hopefully you can make an informed decision with your friends here at Cheap Guitar Channel. Like and subscribe if you want to. And now, here's me to hopefully help you make an informed decision with the Cheap Guitar Channel. Hey guys, welcome back into the Cheap Guitar Channel. I'm doing something a little different today. There are so many quality guitars that have come out, I really can't keep up with them. I've gone through and watched reviews of a whole lot of them, ordered a few of them myself, have done a review or two on a couple, but I was going through Amazon looking at what's available right now and thought I would go through some of these because I've had some people ask if they have a kid that's learning to play, or maybe they're older and they want to start learning how to play, but want a quality instrument that's not going to break the bank. Like a lot of people, they don't know if they're going to stay into it for very long. So they don't want to put out a large outlay and then quit. I understand that completely. Fortunately, unlike when I first started playing 1,000 years ago, the guitars back then, mostly, especially the beginner guitars, were junk. They were hard to play. The necks were usually bowed. And a cheap piece of crap guitar would still set you back $300 or $400. Today, that is not the case. I have some sub $100 guitars that are ridiculous for that money. I think it's safe to say there has never been a better time to learn how to play guitar or start learning how to play guitar. Now, a lot of times you'll hear older, more experienced guitar players talk about mod platforms. If you've spent any amount of time at all on YouTube and watched some of the real guitar players and real YouTubers, they'll buy a guitar for sub $100, throw $200 worth of pickups in it, put a new bridge, new tuners, sometimes a new nut, and before you know it, you've got a $300 or $400 guitar that plays like a $1,000 guitar or better, and it's just a modded $100 guitar platform. I say that because the first guitar I'm going to show you here, if I can figure out what I'm doing, is this one. I don't want to start with this one yet. This is the one that really impressed me the most. This is a Barcelona D500 Dreadnaught acoustic guitar, natural bundle with gig bag, strings, tuner, strap picks, Fender Play online lessons. That's the one that got me, because this is Austin Bazaar who's selling this, and I'm not sure if they have a deal with Fender, or I don't know what the deal is with this. It also has an instructional DVD, it says, and the polishing cloth. So you get all of that for $79.99. There's a 30% off coupon, 30-day refund and replacement, but a 30% off coupon. When you put this in your basket, it shows up when you go to check out. The reason that I bring this guitar up is obviously well less than $100 at $79.99. Plus, you're going to get 30% off that. If my guerrilla math is correct, it's going to bring this guitar down to about $55, which is a crazy good deal. The reason I say it's a crazy good deal is because of this right here. Spruce for the top. They are saying that this is a spruce top guitar. I by no means think this is a solid piece of spruce, but maybe it is. If it is, it has to be the cheapest piece of spruce ever harvested from what are they, origami trees or whatever they call them, like Mr. Miyagi used to make. Yeah, that's probably the spruce this top is made out of, but I'm not saying it's not spruce. I have a Recording King guitar they call a Martin Killer, and it's got an Adirondack spruce top and mahogany back and sides. It sounds amazing, and the older it gets and the more I play it, the better it sounds. I'm not saying you're going to have that kind of luck with a sub $80 acoustic beginner guitar, but this is encouraging. Spruce top, mahogany back, mahogany neck, merbau fretboard material. I don't even know what a merbau is. I don't even know if that's a tree, if it's a plastic. I don't even know what merbau. Merbau. It's fun to say though. Um, Look, if you are just starting out a guitar with a spruce top for way less than $100 is crazy. I mean, it really is. This was not even an option when I first started back around 1983 or so. Even if you went into a music store that had cheap knockoff, no name, no brand guitars, they were usually made in Korea. Not always, but usually that's where the cheap ones were made. And it's funny looking back because a lot of people didn't want Japanese guitars either. Those things are junk. Yeah. What did we know, right? So this guitar sitting on a rack in a music store in 1983 or 84, if you could find it, would be $300 or $400 easy, and probably not playable without a whole lot of work. So if you had a good music store, maybe they would do some work on it before they sold it. But no, back then there was no sub $100 guitars that were playable straight out of the box. The reason I pulled this one up is they do a comparison down here, going through it. Yeah, this Fender Play, a 2-year warranty with Fender. I don't know if this is a typo, if they just, or it actually has this, but that's a great deal if it comes with the Barcelona D500, and it has everything you need to play your tuner, your picks, your strap, your polishing cloth. Very cheap strings. That's one thing I will tell you about just about any guitar you buy, from $50 guitars to $1,000 guitars. You're gonna want to change the strings on them. If not because they're cheap strings, which usually they are, especially on guitars like this, a lot of times they're not the gauges you want. They're going to hurt your fingers, and so you're just best to change them out right away. The reason I brought this guitar up is, one, because of the fact that it has a spruce top, but they do this comparison, compare with similar items here. This item, obviously the Barcelona D500, they recommend the Fender Squire, and then this Vault guitar, which we'll get to here in just a second. But if you look down here on the features, again, here's that Merbau fretboard material. That's your Merbau. They give a shot for Merbau? No, buddy, they don't do no shots for Merbau. Once you got the Merbau, you just got it. So I have no clue what Merbau is. I do know what mahogany wood is, though. So the Fender, on the fretboard, it says it has a mahogany fretboard. This Fender has mahogany. The Vault EA200CE Acoustic-Electric, it's got tech wood. Tech wood. It's like wood, technically. Kinda. Probably ain't gonna get no termites in that wood. But the back on the Barcelona D500, mahogany. Same with the Fender. Basswood on the Vault. Got some basswood here. But here's where the rubber meets the road. Top material, spruce on the Barcelona, lindenwood on the Fender, lindenwood on the Fender Squire, and there's your basswood again. That's your basswood on the top. String, alloy steel, bronze. I think these guys at Vault are the only ones telling the truth with the strings. Bronze. You're going to want to replace them anyway. I love this body material. It's Dreadnaught body material on that Barcelona. Yeah, that old Dreadnaught wood. Come off the bottom of the ocean. We tried to build guitars out the Dreadnaught. Laminated. And there's a basswood again. Got the basswood. This ain't a bass. It's a guitar. I don't know why I'm using basswood on the guitar. Shouldn't it be guitar wood? And then the neck material, mahogany on the Barcelona, NATO on the Fender. There's a basswood again. Basswood on the neck material. And then the fixed bridge. I bring this up because the customer ratings on the Barcelona are every bit as good as the Fenders, actually dead in between them. And then the Vault kind of brings up the rear at 4.4. Now, mind you, 2,787 people have written a review about the Fender SA-150 Dreadnaught. This guitar has everything you need to learn and play, but again, it is $110 more than the Barcelona, and no discount. So it's going to be more like $130 or $140 more. Again, if you don't think you're going to stick with it and you want to resell it later, you're going to get a whole lot more for the Fenders than you are for the Barcelona or the Vault. If you're just wanting to play, not put out a whole lot of money, and you want to take it out to the campfire, beat it up, let it smell like smoke, get scratches on it, pass it around, let the youngsters play on it, and not cry when it gets a scratch and, smells like burnt tech wood, Barcelona might be the way to go. It's a good deal, and the fact it's got lessons with it, if that's true, that really is a good deal. Far better deal than what I ever got as a kid. This is the next one. It's an Acoustic-Electric. It's a Thinline. It's a JAMESON brand. Has great reviews, 4.5. Again, it's an Acoustic-Electric. Very, very thin. But it's also blue. But mine's blue. It's not wood. It's blue. Kind of wood is it? Blue wood. Now, actually, it says this one has a spruce top, NATO body, basswood back, spruce neck, rosewood fretboard. Really? Rosewood? Is that rosewood? Okay. All right. We'll give them that. Maybe it is. Piezo pickup configuration. And the thing is, with these cheap Acoustic-Electric guitars, especially one thin like this, it's not going to have that big, huge, deep, fat, full Dreadnaught sound. But even with cheap electronics in it, like these, you can generally coax a pretty usable sound out of them. And I've seen a few reviews online, on YouTube, of guys that bought this guitar and did reviews of it plugged in, and it doesn't sound terrible. It sounds way better than I thought it was going to. One of the issues with these mega cheap guitars, though, you can see even in the picture, not much by way of quality control. Yeah, that's pretty beat up, man. And you can see the binding there where it's, it's not perfect, and it's not going to be. Not for less than $100. But again, it has everything with it that you're going to need to get started. These cords are so cheap. When I had my store, when I would buy beginner Acoustic-Electric guitars or even regular beginner electric guitars, they always came with a cord like this. I just took them out of the box and threw them in a master box and gave them away when people wanted them. They make a lot of noise. They sound terrible. They don't last long. Usually when I sold a beginner guitar package, I just put a good cable in with it if it was an Acoustic-Electric, because those cables are really junk. But this guitar does not sound terrible. I mean, I wouldn't go on a world tour with it, but again, if you wanted to take it out to the campfire, if you were going to do a gig outside, maybe you were thinking, it might rain today. You don't want to get a good $1,000 acoustic wet. This one might be your guy. This is the Fender FA25 Dreadnaught acoustic guitar. It's a beginner guitar, 2-year warranty, which is good. It also includes free lessons. It only has 4.3 out of 5 stars for 157 ratings, but they're all pretty good. I mean, it's 68% 5-star, 13% 4-star, and then single digits, 3, 2, and 1 star, and there's always duds. It doesn't matter. You can buy a $10,000 guitar, and it may be a dud. It may have frets lifting off of it or wood splitting, or generally the quality control is a lot better on a $10,000 guitar, so I'm kind of kidding a little bit about that. But for $100, you can get a name brand, a Fender. So if you buy this guitar, again, you could take it out to the campfire, take it out by the lake, take it fishing with you, drown it. You're out $100. That's way better than $1,000. Again, you can pass it around, let the amateurs play and beat it up and have a good time, and you're not going to cry when it gets a crack or a dent in it. And being that it is a Fender, when you decide, I just stink a guitar, kind of like me, but you're not as stubborn, but you figure out you really suck and you want to give it up, you can sell this one. It's a Fender. Someone out there on Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or wherever you might be in the world, whatever your local marketplace is, you can usually sell a Fender. Most people have heard of Fender, so they're not really hard to resell. I've actually seen these on Marketplace and I think Craigslist. I saw one, but they're selling them for, or trying to sell them for more than $100, which is crazy. You can get it right here for $100. So don't pay more than $100 for this Fender. It is a Fender. And again, it's probably going to need a little setup like any guitar that you buy. But the Fender FA25 Dreadnaught acoustic guitar, 2-year warranty, which is pretty nice. And it comes with the free lessons, but it doesn't come with much else. You basically get the guitar and the lessons for $100. But again, it's a Fender. Spruce wood top, basswood body, a laminated basswood back, which means it's plies of basswood. Why is it basswood? It's supposed to be guitar wood. It's not bass, it's a guitar. Well, it's basswood and it's laminate. It's stuck together, glued together, pieces glued together. That's what laminate means. Neck, NATO, fretboard is walnut. Bronze strings, I don't think they're lying about that. So not a bad deal for $100 for a guitar that you should be able to relatively easily resell. I mean, if you paid $100 for it, you could probably get $75 or $80 for it tomorrow if you decide you don't want to play. Now, I've been asked a few times about electric guitars. Is it easier to play an acoustic or is it easier to play an electric? It's easier to play an electric, quite frankly. But there's a lot more to it than just that. So most people start out on acoustics. But there are some electrics that, man, oh man, what I wouldn't have given for one of these when I was growing up. This is one that my buddy has. And this is an amazing deal. He actually had me order this for him. And again, you can easily get one of these as a lemon. I've seen a few people online that have ordered this. They did reviews of it, and it had issues. Not a lot of those types of reviews. It's got a 4.2, 56% 5-star, 25% 4-star. So you're talking about 81% of the people who bought this guitar like it or love it. My buddy's been playing guitar for over 40 years. He started when he was 8 years old, and he loves this guitar. It's got the P90 in the front. It's got a humbucker in the bridge with coil split, which is crazy to me for a guitar that's $98.78 with a 20% discount, meaning this guitar is less than $80. And it comes with everything you need except the amplifier. The gig bag that it comes with is not bad at all. Normally, in this price point, guitars like this basically come with a dust cover. And that's it, which is better than nothing, but it's not great. This bag is definitely a step up from that. The strap is your typical cheap nylon strap, but definitely works. The tuner, it's somewhat suspect because he sent me a track that he had tuned with this tuner, this clip-on tuner, and maybe he'd err. But he was a couple of cents off, which it makes sense. I mean, it's a cheap tuner, comes with it. Again, super cheap cord, gonna be noisy, but it's a 3-meter cord. Was that 9 feet, 10 feet, something like that? The string's going to be super, super cheap. You're going to want new strings almost right away. Same with the picks. They'll get the job done, but, man, these type picks, I can't hang on to them. But I sweat like a fat guy, so. And then it comes with your Allen wrenches to adjust the action and the intonation on your guitar, whatever. Again, pretty much everything you need. It really does freak me out that a guitar this cheap has coil splits on it. It just, very rarely do you see a guitar sub $100 that has a coil split humbucker in it. Something else about this guitar he told me that I was not expecting It is semi-hollow. You see the F-hole in it right here. It's semi-hollow. He said it's a chunk of wood. And I've seen a couple of other reviews online where the people said the guitar has some weight to it. So keep that in mind. This, although it looks like it might be a light guitar, according to the reviews I've watched and my buddy who actually has had this since March, he said, yeah, it's a slab of wood. So I think he said his came in right about 8 pounds. So it's not light, even though it looks like it. But look, for way less than $100, for a guitar that you could potentially keep forever, man, it's going to be hard to beat this one. And I've seen a lot of people online buy this as a mod platform. If if you're new or don't know what that means, it means modification. They buy a guitar like this, they slap new pickups in it, new hardware on it, polish the frets, do the neck work. And you have a guitar you paid less than $100 for. You throw $200 or $300 of parts in it, and it plays like a $1,000 guitar. So it would definitely make a great mod platform. Speaking of mod platforms, this is the other one that I saw, and it came to mind when my friend asked me about getting a guitar for her son. I think he's 11 or 12 years old. And he really didn't have a preference, acoustic or electric. He likes all sorts of music. His tastes are just all over the place. So this one came up when she asked me. And I thought, it's got a 10% discount on it, which means it's going to be $63 and change plus tax. And again, it pretty much has everything you need to start minus the amplifier for $63. Now, they say it's a Bull Star brand, if you see right here. But when these guitars come in, when these generic guitars come in, there's no telling what it's going to say on the headstock. This one says Min-Scene or Muin-Sign or something like that. Now, they could come up blank. They could come up with Bull Star on them. They can come up with anything. But the reason I brought this guitar up, great mod platform. It's a humbucker single humbucker. It has the super cool lightning bolt inlays in the fretboard. No truss rod cover, easy to get to. Has the strings, the cable, the strap. The strap actually looks better than the cheap nylon ones, but who knows. Cheap picks. And then a clip-on tuner that looks a little better than the last one, but maybe not. And then 3 different colors, blue, sunburst, and black. When I first saw these, I went, do my eyes deceive me, or do those bodies have binding on them? No, I'm just dumb. There's no binding on these, especially not for $63. I mean, what do you want, really? I'm sure the tuners aren't great. You're probably going to have to do some nut work. Definitely going to have to polish the frets. But if you're looking for a mod platform, or if you just want a beginner electric guitar, this probably isn't the worst choice in the world. And I say that when I started back in the early 80s, you could go into a guitar shop and see guitars like this on the wall. Again, sometimes made in Korea, sometimes made in Japan, and nobody wanted them. They were junk. If it wasn't made in the USA, it was junk. And a lot of times they were right. The necks would be bowed. The action would be terrible. The electronics wouldn't be great. Now, a Korean-made, made in Japan, made in Korea guitar, yeah, they're worth a mint a lot of times. But you would see these type of guitars hanging on the wall. Sometimes they would be Simar guitars or Hondos. JB Player was another one. Trying to think of some of these other off-brands, sort of off-label brands. And some of them had affiliations with name brands, but they were just like the generic knockoff version. Knowing now what I know, most of them are made in the same factory. They just put different names on them, and almost all of them come out of China now. But these guitars, even generic, a lot of them come from Command Music, which was Series 10, GTX, Applause, They had a bunch of different names back in the early 80s. Earl Slick even had a guitar similar to this with his name on it. Not the slick guitars of today, but way back, I think they were called Phantom guitars when he was playing with a group called Phantom Rocker and Slick. But I digress. Even these cheap guitars, $300-400. Yeah, crazy. You could find them on sale for, $269, something like that. But they weren't good. All the guitars now are CNC machined, so the tolerances are pretty close. And if you can work on these guitars at all, even just a little bit, you can end up with a very, very playable instrument for less than $75, which is insane. All right, moving back over to this Vault EA20CE Cutaway Acoustic-Electric guitar. Black bundle with gig bag, tuner, strap, strings, instrument cable, picks, Austin Bazaar instructional DVD, and polishing cloth. Same company, Austin Bazaar, selling it, this Vault guitar, but no Fender lessons. But you get the Austin Bazaar instructional DVD. Guitar Essentials. And again, you get a ton of Fender picks, but it's a Vault guitar. The strings, again, super cheap cable, although it doesn't look quite as cheap as the other one. It's a GEARit, so it's not just completely terrible. Fender poly strap, decent strap, lasts you a long time. Polishing cloth, obviously not a terrible thing to be included. But as you can see, it's basically the same electronics that were on the other one. You've got your bass, your mid, your treble, your presence, battery check, and the volume. Essentially the same electronics that are in that JAMESON, I think is what it was, Acoustic-Electric. This one's $100 with a 30% off coupon applied, so $70 for an Acoustic-Electric with pretty much everything you need to start playing. I love this superior quality and rich sound. Basswood, 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 techwood. Yeah, not sure. I guess it's technically wood and basswood all over this guitar. Again, you can probably coax a pretty decent sound out of it through an amplifier or a PA running it electric. Probably not with this cord, this cable, but a better cable. Yeah, you can probably get a decent sound out of this. At any rate, it's not a bad instrument at all for the price. The price is ridiculous on these. Again, here's the JAMESON for $89. The Fender for $100. The GEARit, the electric generic, and then let me get to this one. This guitar is a real step up as far as electrics go. It's made by Censtar, Censtar. It's got 4.4 out of 5 reviews, and 105 people have rated it. This guitar punches far, far, far above its weight. I did a review on a guitar that I bought that was the Fusion Tele, M-Musi Fusion Tele. Unbelievable guitar for the money. Actually, unbelievable guitar for any money. Roasted maple neck, locking fretboard, locking tuners. I mean, crazy value for the money, but just an unbelievably good playing guitar. This guitar looks like its first cousin, if not its biological brother. There are some slight differences in between the two, but this one has coil tapping on it as well. It's not push-pull on the volume and the tone. It actually has a coil tapping switch. But again, roasted maple neck, stainless steel frets. For $200 plus the coupon off, you're looking at like $179 for this guitar. It is crazy. Mahogany wood body, mahogany back, mahogany neck, maple fretboard. It's actually, they call it carbonized maple. you call it roasted maple, whatever. But again, the guitar for $180 punches so far above that price. This guitar in 1983, similarly spec'd, this would have been $700 easy in 1983 prices. Matter of fact, I don't even remember if they made a guitar with a roasted maple neck or caramelized maple neck, whatever they called this, back in the early 80s. So maybe they did, and I just missed it. I wasn't big into guitar then. I was just sort of starting out. But I don't remember many roasted maple necks on guitars back then. And the guitars that had any kind of upscale appointments whatsoever were $1,000. Easy. So this guitar at $199.99 with a 20% discount, bringing it in at about $179, is nuts. If you want a real guitar, and I'm not saying this one won't need some work. It very well might. Most guitars do. But take it to someone who knows what they're doing, have it set up, and you could easily have a forever guitar here. So these are the guitars that I recommended to people that asked me about getting a guitar for a beginner or for themselves. These are the guitars that I would recommend on Amazon. It's a very small layout for some pretty decent instruments. And again, you can always get a lemon. There's a lemon in everything, be it vehicles or drums or whatever. You can always get a lemon. But Amazon's got a pretty good return policy. Some of these have warranties that you saw, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you're close to a decent music store, and I'm not talking about a box music store, a chain music store. I'm talking about a music store that has a good guitar repair tech in it. Take your guitar to him. Have him give it the once over. Have him put new strings on it. Have him set it up for you. And, before you give it up, before you say, man, I suck, I'm terrible at this, have him set it up. Play through the pain for a little while, and then decide if you don't want to play anymore. Learn a couple of songs, and then decide that you really don't want to play. But some of these guitars will take you as far as you want to go. Anyway, it's just my 2 cents. It's worth what you paid for it. Like and subscribe if you want to. Definitely leave a comment. Our community only gets better with every different perspective and every different angle, every different thought. Maybe you bought one of these guitars and have a completely different take on it. Maybe you're looking at one of these guitars and think, man, I'm on the fence. Maybe you just watched this and went, I don't want to be like that guy. I'm not playing. At any rate, like and subscribe if you want to. Please leave a comment. Let us know, even if you have a different opinion. That's wonderful. Just let us know what it is. The more people that contribute, the better off we all are, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining our little corner of the universe. I'm going to do some more videos like this because there's some more things I want to get to that I just really don't have the time to set up everything to get them done. I am going to keep doing more reviews, but there's a few more of these that I'd like to get out of the way. So again, if you would like to contribute, by all means do. Man, wherever you are in the world, take care of yourself. Be kind. Everyone you see, you never know what challenges people are facing, what they might be going through, and the world could use a lot more love. Make good decisions. Until the next time, thanks for being here. See ya. Be cool. Bye. Thanks again for hanging out with us on the Cheap Guitar channel. Like and subscribe if you want. And be sure to join us next time for a poor man playing poor stuff poorly. For all of me here at Cheap Guitar Channel, have a good one, and I'll talk to you next time.